dreams because liminal comes from the Latin limen, which is like a doorway or a threshold. And it's a place that's both and neither. Like a doorway is in both rooms and it's in neither room. So liminal is like both and neither. And it's that space where you're simultaneously awake and asleep. So hypnagogia is the space between awake and asleep. As you're falling asleep, you go through hypnagogia. Hypnos is the Greek god of sleep. Agagos is going toward, it's from the Greek. So hypnagogia is going, it's a nice image, like you're moving toward the god of sleep. And hypnopompia is the opposite. Hypnopompia is what happens when you're going from asleep to awake. Hypnos again, and pompe is going away from, like pomp and circumstance, you know, when you're graduating. And again, everybody goes through this state every 24 hours. It's that state of mind that you go through when you're, for example, struggling to stay awake and you have that hallucinatory, often there's sound, it's like a kaleidoscopic association, like memory, image, things that are just kind of in your mind. And so if you've ever been, for example, struggling to stay awake, you're watching a movie or you're waiting for someone to come home, or I mean, it happens driving, I'm sorry to say, but it does. And you start to have that hallucinatory semi kind of dream state. That's hypnagogia. And you're right that people who often don't remember their dreams, if that's you, then hypnagogia is actually the state where people who have like short, fast circadian rhythms, people who don't remember dreams as a general rule, can work well with hypnagogia. So it's a really available dream state. But the thing about hypnagogia and hypnopompia is that in these states, you're both awake and asleep at the same time. So I can be lying on the bed and I'm hearing the clock strike 6 and I hear my neighbors yelling, whatever it is. Like I hear all of these things. And at the same time, I'm kind of having that light dream. So it's both awake and asleep and neither awake nor asleep. Again, working with hypnagogia is wonderful because it's so available to us. As I keep saying, every 24 hours, we go through this EEG state. And I'm actually going to back up and talk about this a little bit. And then I'm going to give you some practices just because it helps people understand a little bit. So we all know EEG, right? It's when you're talking about brains, and I differentiate between brain and mind, just to be clear. So when we're talking about brains, we're often talking about like electricity and chemicals, right? Like how do you read what's happening in the brain? And we all know like an EEG reading, right? It goes, you know, it kind of goes like this. And so every 24 hours, we all go through various EEG states. You know, like right now, we're engaged in a conversation. We're engaged is the word. So probably our brainwaves are in beta, something like 14 to 30 waves per second. In the deepest sleep, it's like 0.5 to 3. It's like the lowest waves per second. If you're super amped up and excited, you know, you're kind of in gamma, which is like, you know, like 40, you know, so there are all these different brainwave states. And in a 24-hour cycle, we go through these different brainwave states, the ones that are awake and the ones that are asleep. And so hypnagogia and hypnopompia are two of these brainwave states. And they're pretty similar. Some people argue that they should be called just one thing. I actually, I strongly differentiate between them, but that's a whole other story. We're all having this experience, right? So you all everybody goes through it, everybody knows it. And one of the most common reactions I get when I'm talking about hypnagogia is people saying, oh, yeah, of course I know that. Like, I didn't know that was like a thing. I didn't know it had a name. And it does. So everybody does it naturally. Like something like lucid dreaming takes like a lot of work to learn how to do it, to get into it. But everybody is a natural liminal dreamer. So because hypnagogia is a naturally occurring state, what you're really doing is you're just learning to recognize when you're in it and then to learn to expand out the time that you spend there. There's a lot of easy ways to do this. For example, when you're sleepy in the afternoon, you can just lie down on the couch and start to go into nap space, and you can use like a voice activated recorder. So they're available as a phone app, easy, cheap, a few dollars to get a phone app. You can have the recorder near you, or pen and pencil. A lot of other exercises for like creativity, problem solving. You can get to that too. But when you're lying down and napping, try to pay attention to where your mind is going. And when you sort of start to go into that hallucinatory state, you can either start writing it down, or you can even just start mumbling into your voice activated recorder. To try to bring on the state, you can try napping in public is really good. Like if there's a park where you feel comfortable lying down on a blanket. If you're on a long car trip, climb into the back seat and try napping there. When you're going to sleep at night, you can try this exercise that I call the vanishing point. Really what you're trying to do is track the moment that you fall asleep, and you actually can catch it. You really can catch that moment. It's very hard, but the practice of doing it will help you find that moment. So just as you're lying in bed, try relaxing your body, like breathe slowly, deeply, relax your body, but kind of keep your mind awake. And if you feel yourself start to drift off, give yourself a little mental juice. If you're too amped up, breathe out, relax your body, right? Try to find that loop, like that feedback loop. And then you'll start to recognize where those spaces are. You'll start to recognize like, oh, wait a minute, I'm having that hallucinatory state. I'm having that now. And again, I'm talking about hypnagogia specifically now, and not hypnopompia. Hypnagogia is a little easier to find, right? You'll start to recognize that you're in that state. It's really great to try this, like I say, in the afternoon when you naturally have an energy dip. Those EEG cycles are contingent on your circadian rhythm, and most of us have an energy drop in the afternoon. It's a really good time to try to catch hypnagogia. So really a lot of it is just becoming familiar with it. And honestly, just when you're going to sleep, like take a nap. Just take a nap and try to like catch that point. There's a lot of ways to sort of learn to locate it. It's really easy to find since we all naturally go through it. The trick is learning then to expand it out.